Welcome to the program. Today we're going to be talking about general angles. And to do that, we're going to need to continue to refer back to a standard coordinate axis, which means that we have an X and we have a Y. If you look at the angle formed, however, from the x-axis, the positive x-axis, we'll keep going back to positive x-axis as our starting point. And the angle formed with the positive y-axis, that is a right angle, meaning it is 90 degrees. Okay? So from positive x to y is a 90-degree angle. We can go further and say from positive x to the negative x side, that is a 180, right? Because it's another 90 to get there. And even further, we could rotate counterclockwise to get 270. So 9 times 3, 270, and all the way around from the positive x, rotating counterclockwise, to the positive x again. This is a 360-degree rotation about the vertex. All right, so all of our angles today, we measure from the positive x side and rotate about the vertex. Those are positive rotations, and we'll talk about negative rotations in a second. But usually angles will not just lie as multiples of 90 degrees. They will not be perpendicular angles all the time. So today we're talking about, generally speaking, general angles. And so if we have the standard coordinate axis and we want to come up with a general angle, we'll start with positive x axis as our starting point, and we'll rotate another ray, meaning a line, and where the line stops will give us an angle between the positive x-axis and the terminal side, and that's our general angle. Okay? So we can come up with angles two different ways. This is a positive angle because we rotated counterclockwise. But if we start with the x-axis, positive x-axis, and we rotate down from the x-axis, this is a negative angle. Okay? So the thing to notice about that is we could come up with a terminal side that coincides from two different ways. We can do positive angle, or we could do a negative angle and rotate all the way to there, and we would effectively get, these are called coterminal angles. They have the same terminal side in the end, and we'll define that more closely in a second. But for now, if I were to say to you, draw the angle 240 degrees, what would you do? Okay, well, of course, we need to visualize the angle, and we'll say this is our x and this is our y. And so we know that that if we were to start with the positive x and rotate to just short of that 270, that would be our 240 degree angle. okay? Because if we rotate all the way to here, that's 270, right? So 240 is just a little bit short of that. If I say draw the angle 500 degrees, well, first you come up with your little graph, and this is X and this is Y. And we got to do some thinking now, because if we do one full rev, that's 360, but we're going beyond that to get to 500. So we'll think about one full rev as 360, and we'll do some subtraction, and we come up with 140 degrees. So over here is 180, right? And this is 90, and this is 270. So 140 would be from the positive X, and we rotate to 40 degrees shy of 180, and we get our, this is going to be, you can look at it as 140, right? 140 degrees. Or you can look at it as a full rev 360 plus a 140 to give us 500 degrees. All right? So there's a special term for that when you have equivalent angles with respect to the positive X. So 500 degrees and 140 degrees are coterminal angles, meaning that they have the same terminal side, even though one is a full rev plus 140 and the other one is just 140. They end up being the same angle with respect to the positive x-axis. Okay? We can also draw negative angles. Right? We still start with the same standard coordinate axis, x and y. But if we're going to draw negative 50 degrees, we start with the positive x, and instead of going counterclockwise, we'll go down, right? And this is negative 50 degrees. All right? So negative 50 degrees does have a coterminal angle. If you went counterclockwise instead, you could figure out what that would be, right? So 360 minus 50 would be 310, would be the coterminal angle of negative 50 degrees. So coterminal angles are multiples of 360 degrees. All right? So there's more than one way to get an angle.